Building AI agent is easy, but how do you actually know whether it is working correctly or not? In real-world enterprise system, it's not enough for an AI agent to just respond. It needs to understand the user intent correctly, choose the right tool, follow instructions, and generate safe, reliable responses. Because even if a small mistake like calling a wrong tool can lead to wrong business actions or sometimes even security risk. Without proper evaluation, you're basically trusting your AI agent blindly. And that's something enterprises cannot afford. In this video, I'm going to explain how you can build evaluation of AI agents through Azure AI Semantic Kernel framework. These evaluations include tool call accuracy, task adherence, response quality like Relevance Coherence, and Fluency. Let's begin. Let's understand the infrastructure needed for this project. We basically need two resources. One is Foundry resource and Foundry project resource. And I have shown you how you can get these resources and get the infrastructure ready in my past videos. So on Foundry, go to models plus endpoints and deploy a base model. I'm using GPT 5.2 chat completion model, which is a latest and very efficient one. You need an API keys and you need all the endpoints from overview. I'm going to explain you in a bit where you can attach all this. Let's understand what we are trying to build. We are actually trying to build a multi-AI agent. The AI agent which is calling the tools. I cannot call it as multi-AI agent. Basically, it's an AI agent where we have two tools. Okay, let's understand what this AI agent is about. So here you can see in the system message, actually it is an food ordering assistant, where the primary function of this assistant is to route the customer request to appropriate function. As I told, we have two tools. One is menu and order. In Semantic Kernel, we call it as a plugin. We don't call it as a tool, right? This basically routes the user request either to menu plugin or to order plugin, and I have defined the function and I have defined the procedure when and where the assistant has to call the menu and when and where the assistant has to call the order. For menu, it handles the queries about the menu items, prices, recommendations, availability using the menu plugin. For order, it handles the queries about placing orders, modifying orders, canceling orders, tracking orders, and payments. After calling the appropriate plugin, provide the actual response to the user with the menu items, prices, order details. If a query is ambiguous, politely inform the user that you cannot assist. Always provide helpful, clear, context-aware responses. So this basically is a system message. Okay, everything I'm creating in the client side. What I mean to say client side, when you execute this is not creating any AI agents on the Foundry. It is creating not from the server side, right? Everything is in the client side. Only the evaluation results we are going to publish this on Foundry. Now we are going to get an URL. So that leads to the Foundry, and there we can see the analytics. I hope you got the concept and the system message and what we are trying to build. Okay, for this, what we need, we basically need these parameters, open API key, where you can get this. So go to here, model plus endpoints, and in model plus endpoints, click on your base model and then copy the key. This is the key I'm using, and OpenAI deployment name, which is GPT 5.2 chat, which you can basically copy paste from the same location. And OpenAI API version, this you have to search on internet. So for GPT 5.2, it is 2461, and then Foundry project endpoint. So for this, you have to go to overview, and here you see Microsoft Foundry. We have three categories: OpenAI and AI services. So go to the Microsoft Foundry, and this is our project endpoint. Copy this. Okay, that's all we need. So I basically created 4 scripts. So we have to only execute 2 scripts, which is end-to-end pipeline and evaluation. So let's understand the script on a higher level. This is a very big script, so I'm not going in depth. So first step is you have to generate the synthetic queries. For example, any evaluations, you cannot manually type each query and then get a response from the LLM, then you can evaluate, right? It takes a huge amount of time to do that. Rather, what we can do is we can generate the conversational turns, right? You know what is the definition, you know the system message. A simple hack is you go to the GPT, you say that this is a system message, I need 10 conversational turns. Here I am generating 5 conversational turns. You need 10 plus or 50 plus or 100 plus. You can go there and get the conversational turns and then copy paste in your script. So what is the benefit of it? You're saving a lot of time. You're getting the responses for all these queries in milliseconds from it, right? It's going to return in list of dictionaries format. Here it is in memory because I'm not writing this results anywhere. This is being passed inside the script. And then label intent. This is a important one. Here you see, for example, I'm writing a query, what is the price of this, right? So there is a keyword called price. That price is here. I have written, whenever you see these keywords, menu, item, price, availability, then it has to return menu, means it has to redirect to the menu plugin. It has to call the menu plugin. So for the order, similarly, if I write where is my delivery, so there is a keyword called delivery, which the LLM, which the script will recognize, and then it will call the order plugin likewise. Okay, so this is a keyword matching technique, I can say. You can also go with the LLMs automatically picks up and then call the relevant plugins. I'm not going with LLMs, rather I'm defining as a keywords, as a hard-coded method. The reason is this is evaluation, right? So evaluation means the human has to interfere and evaluate the AI agent. We cannot, for me, this make more sense than using an LLM to do the same task. And here we are extracting the user query and building a model client. For any LLMs, in the last video also I have shown you one of the how you can build AI agents in a simple terms. So any AI agents, when you are building the client, building a client is the first step, right? Here also we are building the client, and here deployment name, endpoint, API, everything is being considered and then assigned to a client object. Here we are using a semantic kernel, so this framework is a little different than other frameworks. Here in this invoke agent, this is where the primary functionality is happening, and this function sends the user query to AI agents and returns the final responses as a plain text. For example, here the user query is converted into a chat history, and then here in the responses, the user query is being sent to the AI agent, and then the response is being recorded. So here we are defining and telling the agent what are the tools. Basically, we are using menu plugin and order plugin, and we are basically saying when you can use a menu plugin and when you can call the order plugin. And here you can see output record. When I execute this script will generate a JSON lines file, or you can say JSON file, where in that JSON file you can see all these parameters like query, response, tool call name, tool call arguments, and you know what tools we are using, and you know what is this tool call, and the response. And here you see the response is recorded, and in the response recorded, it will also tell which tool is being called. If you are asking for the food item, hi, can I get the pizza, right? Can you tell how many pizzas you have? So types of pizzas, anything like that, right? That will basically lead to the menu plugin. In the menu plugin, here you can see the menu plugin as a name and other details like created and tool call ID. Every tool will be associated with an ID, and it will say that your request has been routed to the tool name or the plugin name. And here you can see at the last the response text. I'm going to show you the JSON file in a bit, so then you can understand this better. The whole block is a tool definition. So this is a menu plugin script. Basically the pipeline invokes the agent, and then agent tool definition decides which tool to call. It's not a script, it's basically on the user query, and the agent decides which plugin to call. Okay, this is this is basically on the user intent by the model. Here you see in the menu plugin, I have given the different options as menu. It's going to display when user do the conversation with the agent, and there is a search format category. I'm not going in deep. I'm just showing you how this gonna work. And this is an order plugin likewise, basically on the payment options and tracking order, placing order, like that. So here if you see in the left hand side of the panel, I have actually bifurcated it like these things neatly. The reason is you should not get confused. Whenever you are trying to create the scripts, I basically suggest you to go with creation of subfolders like agents, like data, and this is my virtual environment, and then evaluation. So agents, whatever agents I'm doing, I have basically one primary agent and two plugins I'm going to place here. And data, the output and input files you can keep there. And evaluation, this is on my final script which I'm going to run. And this is my requirements.txt. I forgot to show you this in the first hand. So these are the dependencies I'm using here. So you can install this using the pip commands. Let's go back. Okay, let me run the file. Okay, the output is being generated. If you come here, you see I have 5 queries. You see 5 rows here. Likewise, I have query, what is the user query, and the response from the agent. User is asking what's on the menu today. Here is what's on the menu today, and it has given all the details. Okay, and here you can see for the second query, tool call name, order plugin. Basically the second query is on the order. We are asking, I want to place an order for 2 margarita pizzas. So basically it is order. It is invoking the order plugin. Tool call arguments, I want to place an order. Chat history, you get a chat history. So everything is being simplified. Even evaluations is being simplified, right? And also you see tool call ID. As I told, every tool is associated with an ID, and the result, your request has been routed to order. This is the result. Also you can see the text response. So if you see the first query where you see a content parameter, right? In that content parameter, you see a lot of JSON objects like text and text. This is a response from the agent. Like here is what on the menu today. So you have got most of the information which is needed for evaluations. You got which tool is being called and what is the query, right? And what is the response from the agents? What is the tool name? Everything we got it for evaluation now. So in the evaluation, we are using Semantic Kernel agent, right, for the evaluations. So which basically accepts this SK agent responses JSON file as an input, and it will create one more JSON file. We can call it as enriched data file. And also you will get a URL for the Foundry, right? So these are the evaluators what we are using. We are using task adherence, tool call accuracy, relevance, coherence. Most of it are standard evaluators. You have to use it for all of your agents, right? So you see Fluency, Coherence, Content Safety Evaluator. These are pretty standard. And if your agents are not using tool, you don't need this tool call accuracy evaluator. You don't need. If your agent is a very simple agent, which is a question and answer, basically it's just answering your queries, not doing much complex tasks, you don't need a tool call accuracy evaluator. You probably need only the standard evaluators like coherence, fluency, code vulnerability, hate unfairness, many things. And default Azure credential, because I'm using CLI, and this is to load the environment variables. And here you see the path is being given like SK agent output. So this is where I'm getting the input, and evaluation name, I can change it to 22. Right, this is the evaluation name, and the model config is being loaded here. And here again I have to define the tool, define the tool definitions. The reason is the evaluation for the tool basically happens with the definition whatever you are giving here, right? How it's going to evaluate? It's going to evaluate on the definitions whatever you are giving here. You're saying that handles menu related queries including the details and everything. So it's basically assess the description and then assess the response and then evaluate both. And the tool definitions, you can use the same whatever you have used in the pipeline file. It's basically you are defining everything in the evaluation file. You can get all these scripts from the GitHub page of Azure. So you have to little bit refactor the code accordingly, and then you can run it. And here you see we are building a model config and evaluators, and we are basically using all this. So this is a class. Task adherence is basically a class where we have the model config as a parameter, and you can see what is this called. The task adherence evaluator assesses whether an AI assistant action fully align with the user intent and fully achieve the intended goal. It's basically referring the user query and the response, and then putting the rational brain, and then it is thinking whether the agent has given a proper response or not. The user is satisfied with the response or not. So here we have all the evaluators which are being defined and which are being used. So the first one is task adherence evaluator. Basically, it checks whether the agent followed the user instruction properly or not. Okay, and the tool call accuracy, the proper tool is being called or not. Relevance checks whether the response is relevant to user query or not. And we have a fluency and coherence. This is basically checks whether the response is logically structured and makes sense. Fluency is, as the name suggests, checks whether the response is grammatically correct or not. Code vulnerability is also there, which basically checks whether the response contains insecure or vulnerable code. Hate and unfairness checks whether the response contains harmful, biased or unfair content. Here I'm running all the evaluators. That's all. So let me run this. So I have defined the name and the output is generated here. For the first script, I'm running evaluations now. So this basically can take 2 to 3 minutes based on your conversational turns. I'm just using 5. If your conversational turn is more than 100, definitely it is going to take more time. So when you are working in an enterprise setup, what I would suggest is go for multiple conversational turns. This is just for the demo purpose. I've taken 5 conversational turns. It is just fine for the learning purpose. When you are working in an enterprise, at least go for more than 100 conversational turns where you include out of scope scenarios, in scope scenarios. In 5 of the conversational turns, you can see here I have included 3 irrelevant questions. I would like to show you that. You see here in scope queries and out scope queries. In scope queries, what's on the menu today, place order, where is my order. Out of scope queries, what's the weather like tomorrow, how do I book a flight. It's not going to answer that. The reason is this is not connected with internet, and the description and the system message is being given to the agent, so it is only listen to the description. It's not going to answer any relevant questions. So you are going to see one more file like enriched SK agent. So you have to wait until you get the URL here. This is one of the very good functionality. You get JSON file also. You get analytical URL. The URL basically leads to the Foundry. There you can see in the UI. So this basically is evaluation of AI agents. I'm not explaining anything which is related to evaluation of models. Model evaluation is different and agent evaluation is different. Don't worry of all this, and you are going to get these system messages. And finally, you are going to get an URL. So make sure you don't have any syntactical errors. Okay, so you are going to get similar to this. Evaluation run submitted to AI Foundry Studio URL. So you have already given the project endpoint. That's how it is the URL you are getting. So it's everything is being in the behind the screen is an API. So you can click on the link, follow link. And before that, let's inspect this file. You see this file, sorry, not this enriched SK agent. You see this, these are the like JSON file. The same details will be shown on UI now. Yeah, if you are interested, I can show you one thing. Yeah, so the schema is defined. Based on this schema in the UI, you are going to see the responses. Okay, you see here, this is the evaluation, and evaluation 22 is the name. And you see there are 2 categories, AI quality and risk and safety. Risk and safety is pretty standard for all the agents. You have to use that. And AI agents there, for this I have used task adherence and tool accuracy. You can also go for the intent resolution. There is one more metrics called intent resolution, which is basically verifies whether the intent of the response is met or not, right? And then task adherence, you see 2 out of 5 is passed because I have included 2 to 3 relevant questions, and then tool accuracy is proper. I'm not saying everything whatever you are seeing is 100% correct. You have to actually refactor the code, fine tune your models, and then you are going to get the best results in the evaluation. This is just a basic demo I'm showing you. Code vulnerability and protected material is one more risk and safety. For the detail logs, you can go to the data field, and we have something called logs also. Here you see, if I want to pick the second row, so I'm speaking about I want to place an order for 2 margarita pizzas. So response is also here. It looks like your order didn't go through just yet. Let me confirm. It is just confirming the order. Okay. Let's inspect here why the row 1 is passed in task adherence and why the row 2 is failed in task adherence. The whole purpose of task adherence is to check whether agent followed user instruction or not. First query is simple and straightforward. What's on the menu today? And we got a response like this. It's a whole menu. That is the reason it is passed, because the response is as expected. The second query is I want to place an order for 2 pizzas, margarita pizzas. The response is it looks like your order didn't go through just yet. Let me reconfirm. The intended response here should be it has to pass to the order plugin. It should not ask for reconfirming it. This is not something what we are expecting, right? So if you go to this column task adherence reason, you will get to know exactly why this is failed. This user objective was to place an order. However, the order, instead of asking for the confirmation, which could be acceptable as clarification, however, it claimed that the order didn't go through just yet, implying a prior attempt or external action. There are no tool calls or evidence supporting that such an attempt occurred. This is an uncorroborated claim of real-world action which constitutes a material procedure failure. Yes, you'll get a whole rationale behind it why it got failed. I hope you are clear with why the task adherence is a crucial element in the evaluations. So you don't need much effort for this. Already there are, if you go to Microsoft Learn, you get many scripts which they basically speaks about batch evaluations and other things. You can refer to that and you can build similar to this. My main intention is to show you that this functionality exists for your enterprise use cases. You can refine this code, refactor this code, and then do not blindly go with the results here. Sometimes what happens is I'm using 5.2, which is the latest model. Maybe for evaluations, some other model might perform good. We never know, right? It always goes with the trial and error. You try one model. If you are not satisfied with the results, try with one more model. There is nothing wrong. For 5.2, it is giving me these results. Maybe if I am using some of the lower models, I'm seeing some other results, right? So you never know. And also you can export the results. So it is whatever I have shown you, right? So this you can follow when you are deploying any AI agents to production. This is pre-production phase, right? Once you deploy this in production, you cannot use this script. Then basically you have to go to CI/CD approach, where the continuous evaluation methodology, right? This script will be obsolete then. This is only for pre-deployment phase. For post-deployment phase, you have to build a pipeline and do the evaluations. Basically, that comes under AI red teaming. And that's one of the beautiful topic. I hope you understood the concept well. I have not went into depth of it because this is just a higher level demo. My main intention was, as I said, just to show the functionality to you. I hope you like the video. Subscribe to my channel. Thank you.